If y'all just knew the way sis was tired today, the way I'm just tired. Hey y'all, it's Ashley at Bookishrealm. I think my child is upstairs trying to break through the ceiling. At this point, it is what it is. Daylight savings time's always like, it screws parents over because it's normal bedtime, but it's still light outside. So your kids are kind of like, girl, I know you're not trying to put me in bed right now. Why the sun's still up? And it's like, but sis, it's the same time that you go to bed every night, and I'm gonna put you in this bed, and what you do after that point is none of my business, but you know good and well you do not like to get up in the morning. Anyway, y'all not here for that. I hate that I have to sit down and make videos like this, but as I have said time and time again, because I keep having to talk about this stuff time and time again, I really want our community to stay in the know of what's going. And I think that book banning is not getting any better, okay? It's not progressing. It's not, it really isn't, y'all. I don't know how many other ways to explain it, but it's not getting any better whatsoever. In fact, it's getting relatively worse. And so what y'all can look forward to me doing is next week, when this video goes up, the week after is National Library Week, and I'm going to be doing a live reaction to the topped banned and challenged books of 2022 that's basically revealed in American Library Association's whole report about the state of libraries. And they do this report every single year, and that's where they report the top 10 most banned and challenged books for the previous year. So we'll be doing a live show, a live reaction to that come next week. So I'm sure quite a few of you have heard about the news. I saw quite a few people sharing this on Instagram, and I'm gonna go ahead and say, like, I'm kind of late to kind of reporting about this, and it has since been resolved, but I still wanted to film and talk about it because it's, for me, it's actually it's actually very important to continue to discuss and not to kind of dead the issue because it's been resolved, because this is still happening all over the country, and I want people to remain active and very vigilant in how you're communicating with your representatives, with your senators, how you're supporting your local libraries, because this is getting out of control. So in Texas, because this made pretty big headlines because so many people were sharing about it, Texas, a county in Texas, starts with an L, and of course, because I don't have notes written, I'm forgetting the name of the county, but I will leave links to various articles down in the description box below. So this county was facing some book challenges, and eventually it ended up making its way to federal court, where the judge said that the books that were originally removed from the shelves, it is against the law to have those things removed, and so they needed to be put back on the shelf. I will state that this is a public library. I think challenges and bannings are going to function a little bit, are going to function differently between a public and a school library. I feel so much for all librarians right now. I feel so very much for my school librarians, because I feel like their hands are tied a little bit tighter than ours, and sometimes I feel like school librarians don't have the same level of support sometimes that we do as public librarians, because usually it's only one of them and an assistant, and they're facing an entire school board and hopefully other staff and community members to support them. But to have 300 or 400 people who work within your system, you know, kind of gunning towards the same thing, it feels a little differently. So it's a public library. They were ordered to put the books back on the shelf, and the county commissioner and the board, the library board, they were so turned up about the fact that a federal judge says, hey, it's unconstitutional for these 12 books to be removed from the shelf. So instead of just doing the right thing and putting the freaking books back, they said, we'll just close the library so we don't have to deal with this. So yes, for those of you who haven't heard, people were so pissed about books remaining on a shelf that they did not want other people to have access to, that they were willing to fire a whole system of employees and to cut their entire county off from library services. For those of you, which I think a great portion of y'all use libraries, use more than one library, you understand how important libraries are to your community. You understand that. This is where it's going to start hitting us at home. It's different for me and for my colleagues who also may be in this community as librarians, because there are a handful of us who are part of the book community, at least on BookTube. There's a lot more that I find on like Bookstagram. But we feel it. But now is a time when a lot of you are going to start feeling it. Because now this is starting to reach into a territory where they're willing to cut off access for everyone. They're willing to cut funding. So Texas is not the only place where this is happening. I had shared this on my Instagram weeks ago, where I believe it's Missouri. They decided to remove funding for public libraries. The House voted and it passed to give a 0-line operating budget for public libraries. That means, according to the House, public libraries were going to be defunded. Now, of course, this still has to go to the Senate. But at the end of the day, the idea that our representatives, our senators, are willing to close access to public libraries to fit an agenda is absolutely mind-boggling. But it's gotten to this point, y'all. It has gotten to this point where they're willing to shut us down, to shut us up. I can't emphasize how serious this is. Now, granted, the Texas Public Library, that system is staying open for right now. They decided not to vote on it. They decided that they were going to keep it open for now. That does not mean that they will not try other ways to harm these librarians as well as harm this community to fit what they think is appropriate access to materials. That is censorship. It is no different than the public book burnings that they had back in the day. This is very much so in alignment with what Nazi Germany was doing. It's no different. You want to close access off to everything for an entire county just because you don't want to put 12 books back on the shelf? Don't read it. Don't check it out. Walk past it. It infuriates me that we have to continue to have these conversations. But I need y'all to understand how detrimental this is getting, how harmful this is getting to communities. And it's one of those situations where I feel like for some people, you don't understand how jacked up stuff is until it hits home or until it's right in your own backyard. But I'm pleading with people not to let it get to that point. Don't wait until it's too late. You have a library system in Michigan. This is the same one that Nora Roberts had donated to. They are barely staying afloat, y'all. It's good to have the donations. Yes, it keeps them open for another year. But what after that? They don't have a stable budget anymore. There's no money coming in. So what do you do then? If you don't have the money, you don't have consistent people throwing money out you or throwing money at you in order to keep your library open, it's not going to work. It's not sustainable. You cannot afford to do something of that nature. And while it was great that donations flooded in, I'm so concerned that when they come to their next fiscal year, they're not going to be able to serve their communities. And while the people who are making these decisions have access to books any way that they want to, their children have access to books any way that they want them to. They're stripping communities who view the library as a lifeline. Libraries are not just places for books. And I keep having to tell people that, yes, I'm on the book part of it. That's my livelihood. That's what I do. That's what I eat, breathe, smell all day long. Books, books, books. But I have been on the other end. I've spent most of my career on the other side of things, where people come in asking for help to find housing, asking for help on how to apply for food stamps, people who need financial literacy skills, people who need computer skills, people who need help with job applications, people who need help with resumes, people who come in and need to know where to find bus passes, people who come in and just need us. And you have senators and representatives that are willing to put those people on the line for a win in a culture war that should not even exist. It hurts me so much because I know how much my job, and not monetarily, but I know how much my job means to me. I know how important libraries are. I know how important libraries were for me, and I know how important libraries are for the communities that I have served in. I have seen libraries make a difference in people's lives. I have seen libraries turn things around for people. I have seen libraries be sanctuaries for kids and adults who have nowhere to go sometimes. I have seen libraries be a place where people can find comfort. They have no one to talk to. And sometimes they just go to the library because they have someone to talk to. I have seen people who just got a new start because of libraries. And it's not about this self-gratification. It's not about feeling good about yourself when you do these acts of service. It's about, if I was in that position, if I needed help, I would want somebody to help me. If I had the courage and the strength to say, hey, I'm down on my luck right now. I need help doing this. I need help, doing a job application. I need help printing out this document. Can you tell me the telephone number to this place so I can get this? It's the smallest things. And yet, here we have county commissioners, board directors, council members, senators, representatives willing to take away all of that for books that they don't have to read. No one is assigning these books. No one is telling them that they have to check them out. But God forbid that someone wants to read about someone that shares their experience or may have a different experience in them and they want to learn more. What happened to wanting our kids to be able to think for themselves? Isn't that what they always say? I want my kids to be able to think for themselves. I don't want them to run with the hive. I don't want them to have groupthink. It's amazing how you can spout those things and yet you take away the tools and resources to allow your kids to be critical thinkers. Isn't that amazing? This is why I say those same people who cry and plead and scream about their poor little children being indoctrinated, you are being indoctrinated. You are the fools at the end of the day. This is ridiculous. This is out of pocket. You have librarians quitting their jobs left, right, and center because they're getting called pedophiles and groomers, and they're getting harassed and they're getting doxxed over privileged people that just can't stand to see a book on a shelf. Don't y'all have better things to worry about? Don't you want to continue to brainwash your kids about a reality, a world that doesn't even exist? I don't know what direction we're headed in. And it scares me. It scares me because while I love us as a community, don't get me wrong, sometimes I be wanting to throw hands with y'all. I need y'all to wake up. I need y'all to see how bad it is getting. And we have a certain level of privilege because if we want a book, we can get it. Some of us live in areas where our counties are going to fight like hell before they let anything get pulled off their shelves. But there are communities who are fighting their asses off, and they're not winning. They are losing. And if they lose, communities lose. And if communities lose, I don't know what is going to happen in the grand scheme of things. And I hate getting emotional because it probably feels like this is a dumb thing to get emotional about. But I think when you see the difference that libraries make firsthand, and if you've ever had a library make a difference in your life, this is something to be up in arms about. This is something to be emotional about. Now, like I said, Texas, that county in Texas, their system is staying open. They're not going to vote on it right now. But I promise you, these people are strategizing. They're not going to go silent without a fight. They're really not. They're not going to go silent. They're going to keep going, and they're going to keep going. And these groups like Moms for Liberty are gassing it up. They're making it easy. They're making it so people could just turn in forms. Challenge this. Challenge this. I can't believe you have this on your shelf. You need to move this, move that. No, how about you act like a parent? Act like a parent. You dictate what your child can and cannot read, but you're not finna tell me what my child can and can't read. You do not dictate my household. You know, these are the same people who say the government has too much control. The government, big government, big government. It's the hypocrisy for me that I just don't get. And I literally sometimes wonder, like, do you understand exactly what you're doing is exactly what you claim to hate so much? You make literally no sense. No sense whatsoever. I digress, y'all, because I can sit here for hours on end and just go in on the foolery that is book banning and challenging. I don't know. I don't know what the future holds. What I can tell y'all is that, please, my only ask of you, if you watch this video, if you support this channel in any way, all I ask of you is to support your local libraries. Write to your representatives, write to your senators. Tell them how important your libraries are to you. Strip these fools of their votes. Strip them bare. That's the only way. They've got to come out of office. All right, y'all. That was very emotionally charged. I have been holding that in for a couple of days because I wanted to see how this was going to play out. And I'm grateful that their doors are remaining open right now for the moment. But I can't say that I'm not nervous about the direction that this country is going in terms of this culture war. It makes me very nervous. And I just got to put this out here. If you come in any shape or form into my comments today with any foolishness about, oh, well, aren't they just trying to remove pornographic books? You will get blocked and deleted. Because I'm not finna argue with you. You could go argue with your mama, but you're not finna argue with me today. Not today. And in the future, I'm not dealing with it anymore. Because I had some people who commented on my other video, well, these books are too sexual for kids. This is not the channel. I'm not finna have a discussion with you over this. This is a time when I do videos like this, I'm not finna discuss anything with you. I'm not finna argue with you because you finna get the side of me that you probably do not want to see. You better try Jesus and not me. So if you're gonna come with that energy, I advise you, this is not a safe space for you. I'm just gonna go ahead and let you know that. Okay? I welcome all people, but that ignorance and that foolery is not welcome. This is not a safe environment for you. You will be blocked. You will be deleted. And if I feel good enough, if I'm feeling extra charming, I'll read you for filth. I just wanted to put that out there very nicely because some people, not y'all who are frequent watchers, but some people who the algorithm likes to draw into my comments. Don't know what that is. But some of y'all are coming into the wrong. This is not the space for it. This is not the channel for you. If you agree with that, this is not the space or the channel for you. I'm just letting you know that, just keeping it 100. To the rest of you, I hope you enjoyed the rest of your week. Thank you for watching. If you want to see more videos from me, click the subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications. If you're interested in following me on social media or supporting me via Patreon, all the links will be down in the description box below. And I will be back with another video soon. Deuces.
Enormous.